What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of This Is My Bases. I am your host, Clyde Perkins. I got my main man, Adrian, here. And I also got John and Patrick here, but they're just sitting in the corner. They're not allowed to say anything. Isn't that right, guys?
Check out the
Hey, you're so fucked up already!
Check out the Drunken Ears channel.
Play the quiet game, alright?
Alright, and then we also got Renee. She's a regular here. But today we're doing a special episode. We're talking about women in the industry. And to do this, I brought in some women in the industry. So, go ahead and introduce yourself, guys. I got...
Guys, already?
Or, goddammit. Introduce yourselves, people.
Gals.
Non-gender binary. I don't know what I'm...
Meat popsicles.
Meat popsicles.
Stay quiet.
Meat popsicles. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Salgado. I work at Murray's out on the east side. What else? My favorite color is gold with glitter. Sorry, I need to scoot up closer to the mic. Let's see. How long have I been bartending? Honestly, since Murray's been open, that's the only time I count. I did work at another bar before that. I don't think it counts. I don't think it counts at all because I was only there for a month and it was quite terrible. I'm not going to name the bar. But yeah, that's...
What side of town was it on?
West.
Are you talking about King's X?
We'll talk later. But yeah, that's me.
Alright, my name is Susan Towers. I've been bartending for about 2 years now. I began bartending on the west side, moved to downtown, working at Whiskey Dick's. I don't know.
It's a hard question.
It is a hard question. I don't know what to say about myself. Not used to talking about myself.
Right on.
Really? Yeah, are we going to start lying already? It's like 30 seconds in.
Alright.
Alright, last but not least.
My name is Alyssa, and I used to bartend at Blackbird. I am retired now. Come out of retirement every now and then for a shift. I also teach yoga.
Alright. And so what's everybody drinking today? Like, let's go over the beers first.
Just Roaring Suns, man.
Paleta de mango? How you like
By
it?
the way, you chose a great selection today.
You did.
The Goza, Adios Pantalones.
Wait, I thought you weren't supposed to talk.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Why are you talking?
Right. Jordan doesn't do well with instructions.
No. I'm
Thanks,
drinking...
man. Appreciate it.
You're an independent woman.
I don't need
You're an
no-
independent.
Ain't no man gonna tell him when to and when not to talk.
Exactly. Well, I ain't no man.
I'm drinking a 903 Chosen One, and it's a like a coffee oil from the
What was it,
903 Brewers.
coconut?
This is the
Oh, coconut, right, sorry. Yeah, coconut. And then I made French 75s for everybody here. So
And it tastes beautiful.
They're delicious.
I feel like Cardi B right now.
what is a French
Drinking.
75, Michelle?
Oh, you would. It's a cocktail that consists of gin, lemon, sugar source, and you top it with sparkling wine, typically champagne.
Champagne.
Yeah.
San Fran.
Being in the French 75 bar in New Orleans actually serves it with cognac, but this is more commonly found.
Okay. So, alright, so let's go ahead and get started with this. So like I said, it's about women in the industry. So, Alyssa, why don't you start us off? Like, tell us, I don't know, your experience bartending and like how it, I don't know, how it might differ from like, you're a woman, so how it's different from like, male
Right.
bartender.
I think as a female bartender in the cocktail world, I mean, seems to be a pretty male-dominated world in the cocktail industry. It's a different style of bartending than speed bar. I don't know, I found it challenging, I think, to be as respected or taken as seriously as the guys. I don't know if you guys have had that
Yeah, definitely.
experience. I think they automatically want to categorize women in the bar industry as, being
Waitresses.
party girls or waitresses or, yeah, but I kind of always wanted to approach it from a place of, I want people to take me seriously, I know what I'm doing, I'm educated about it, I practice it, and I love it. So I was always really careful in choosing what I wore and how I looked because I I didn't want people to see me as just like a sex object first.
See, that's crazy
But
because
part of
You
the-
don't want to see you as just
Second,
not first.
Yes, love me from my mind first, okay, and then
Gotcha.
we'll go from there. No, I just think that it was really important to me to be taken seriously in a world that I was coming into not knowing a whole lot about when I went in with these other bartenders who were really well known in this city and were just great at what they did too. So yeah, I don't know.
So let me ask you this, and I guess this is for all of you. It's a bit of a shocker, I guess, for me, when you guys start saying that it's seen as a male-dominated profession. I mean, let's be honest, in today's age, everything is, which is a shame, really, because women are just as capable as men, if not more in certain respects. But I would imagine that something like cocktails or mixing would be somewhat of a level field. I feel like beer, men, see beer as like, oh, women don't really drink beer. They're into cocktails and fruity drinks and whatever. And so I would feel like maybe there would be some sort of level in there, seeing like, okay, women drink them, so they're maybe better at making that type of stuff. Is that being... I know there's a lot of
I
stereotypes.
feel like you're fairly unique in that perspective.
But
I feel like you're thinking more like, guys like different styles of beers, but as cocktails, what guys think of that we drink is more like adioses or like Sex on the Beach. Like, they don't see us as being on a higher level of like craft cocktails.
yeah, a lot of it is also media. Like, yeah, all they drink is Sex on the Beach and the vodka stinger, and it's like, all right. And no, there's definitely, you guys have a palate just like men do, and you have different things that you can bring to the table. But so yeah, like I said, it's a surprise to me that it's also in that it's not going in, it's not a level field. It's something that already you guys are just struggling going uphill.
Well, I do know that, like Michelle, like working with you now, that you've been at Murray's for so long that you kind of have a rep now for like cocktails. So when people come up to me, like they want a certain cocktail, like they'll just like, oh, well, like Michelle was not making Michelle.
Yeah.
However, there's been times where
It's like throw it in your face, like this is not how Michelle makes it.
yeah, some shit. Like one time I didn't garnish it with rose, or I don't know, something like. Anyway, they returned it. But anyway, but I guess a lot what you get is the beer. Like when I ask you beer questions, they just assume you don't know, or they try to teach you about beer even when you're behind the bar.
That mansplaining, you gotta love it.
I have that experience a lot too, though, at Blackbird, of people wanting specific people to make their cocktails, and just I guess I don't know, like I don't know if that's necessarily gender specific. I think both men and women sort of attached to the guys that I was working with because, like they're fun, they're good looking, like our job is to entertain and to flirt and have fun, like just to take it lightheartedly. I don't think that they ever really took me very seriously as what I was doing. I don't know if you've had that. Not that that they didn't ever, but initially, until I really got the chance to connect with the customer one-on-one, they would want to go to one of them first.
Oh, definitely. When I first started at Murray's, that was never the case, Darren. It was the complete opposite. They'd actually, there was regulars that would go in, open the door, from the door, yell to me, "Is Caesar here? Is this other, male bartender here?" I'm like, "Nah, it's me. Come on in." And they'd just walk away, close the door. But yeah, I mean, that happens. And even then, when people kind of turn you down, like, "No, I want her to make it." Okay, well, what do you want? It's a 2-ingredient cocktail. He can fucking make it. Like, he's behind the same bar as me. Likewise, I'm behind the same bar as you. And with our regulars, like, our regulars know us. They know me. They know our staff. However, we just get those occasional people that come in and say, "Oh, I saw on Instagram, like, this photo, blah, blah, blah. This place looks awesome. So what are you about?" Wait, hold on. I'm going to wait for the man standing behind you wearing the apron to come and approach us and actually, like, "But thank you for the water." Okay, so let me just fuck off to the back then. So it's weird. Like, there are times where I'll try and I'll say, like, "No, like, if you work behind this bar, you have to have a certain level of knowledge. You have to know your beer. You have to know your mezcal."
Yeah, like, don't dumb me the fuck
Sorry,
down
Darren.
just because I have boobs.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
What's the mezcal joke?
But again, like, you went through the hiring process, like, Caesar, the manager at Murray's, he you have to, compete at least like once or twice a year. That being said, we're on the same level, like as far as like all of that goes, and Caesar makes sure of that. But even then, like our customers don't know that, so I think that's where we come in to like educate them. But half of the time, they don't want to be educated. They're like, no, just make me a cocktail and like go away, or yeah. So I mean, it's so many things. Like I don't know, I can start in so many places. Like, there's examples, stories. Like and I don't know. It also being where I'm located and being next to the bar that I am. That is, the formula of just insanely gorgeous women behind the bar. But it's mainly just beers and shots, right? Mm-hmm. So if a customer goes there and then they check us out, they kind of expect the same. They're like, oh, she doesn't just get a beer and a shot. Then I go make a cocktail for someone else, an egg white sour, blah, 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 something like that's it. That's fancy over there. Mm-hmm. Then I blow their mind, and then they start asking, but I have to prove myself first. Like, I have to prove myself in one way or another. I have to one-up them on beer knowledge, on gin knowledge, on anything that I can find. Like, it's the dumbest thing possible. Like, oh, actually, that straw was blah, blah, blah. Like, I just have to find their trust or gain it, and they're like, oh, she knows stuff. Oh.
I feel like having a beer.
No one's ever taught me so much about underwater basket weaving.
But now, since she taught me that, she can make me my cocktail now. I'll have a Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to put out that extreme effort just to be taken seriously. And that's where you're like, whoa, shit. Nobody else in this bar but me had to do that for you.
Yeah. I'm sweaty and what else can I do for them?
Whip out the book, the encyclopedia,
oh my gosh,
actually.
I'm gonna make you this custom blah blah blah. Alright, great. Did they tip? Oh, 50 cents. Cool, moving on.
They made it even dollars.
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of want to bring that up, working with other people who have been pretty well established in the bar industry and have really good rapport with people. The difference between tips. I don't know if you guys pay as much attention, which I shouldn't at the end of the night, because it only drives you insane and you get really mad at how little people tip you sometimes.
I think it just happens.
But I don't know if you guys noticed a difference between the male and female bartenders. Yes. I mean, I don't know if it's because my tits aren't out that I'm not getting tipped well, because I feel like I'm a really good bartender and I know that I connect with people really well. I have fun. I try my best to have patience with drunk people. I have not always been great at holding back my tongue.
Why did you look at me?
But you try.
I'm sure every person in this room has gotten the wrath of my tongue here and there. My coworkers are very patient sometimes, but I'm working with all these dudes, they just need to be bossed around some days. But I noticed that at the end of the night, and I would get so upset because I made somebody the same cocktail that somebody else made them who was a man. And I know I probably made it better, you just know when you make a really good cocktail or you taste it and you're like, that was a bomb old fashioned, it was so good, it was perfect and balanced and all the things. And, they get the $20 tip and you get $2.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that.
I have, but I think that's also what I want to play into, because when you mentioned, you don't dress provocatively. Well, I'm pretty sure a majority of people here have, gone into Grey Dog or anywhere else that I've been, and they've seen me dress provocatively, but I play into that role. Because, of course, I've worked with a predominant male crew. Mm-hmm. So, gotta raise the bar whichever way you can.
Well, I raised in the hole, I dress real skinny, crafts,
Yeah, I mean, I want to be clear that I'm not judging anybody for
it's
it.
fine.
Oh,
no.
I mean, that's it works. We make our money.
It works.
Yeah.
I mean, you could talk shit all you want, but then it's just at the end of the day, we still live in a society that's more driven towards sex. Yeah. And look at the top, college bars that are going on right now. They get packed, man.
Oh, they get hella packed.
It's not about the craft. That's what sucks about being next to them, is because they're not going into the bar thinking, oh, I want a good cocktail. They're going in there to be like, I want to get fucked up and I want to
look at her ass.
I've actually had customers that spill in from the bar next to me, and
from Tipsy, right?
Tipsy or
PTX.
PTX. Mainly now PTX, and it was a slower shift. I remember this. I was working a Sunday. Well, I mean, earlier in the day, and they came in and they're like, "Where the bitches at?" And I actually have a regular who shows up, and she has a blind female dog, and they were just hanging out in the patio. So I was like, okay. So I was like, oh, hey, actually, she's outside. Just be careful because she's blind. So if you want to pet her, just kind of like make sure she smells you first. And they're like, what? Like bitches, right? Like she's outside. Like there's a dog out there. Nah, man, like, I want bitches. I was like, I literally, like, I don't serve sexes, so I'm sorry, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And needless to say, they just, like, fucked off and went away, and, like, I was okay with that. I really was. Like, the fact that they opened my door and were like, where the bitches at? I'm like, did you want me to raise my hand and, like, say, right here, man?
Let me take off my shirt for you.
Yeah. We were just asking. We have him in the back. Hold on, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we've been waiting just for you.
Yeah.
Like, but...
There's like a mission accomplished banner, like George Bush style, like confetti dropping from the ceiling.
Confetti balloons.
Just a nice banner coming off.
You're the 100th customer who's asked for bitches. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Free cocktail you don't know how to pronounce.
There was a girl who she came in the bar. It was like 2.5 weeks ago, and she was looking for a job. And she.
I thought you were gonna say she was asking for bitches too.
No, but she came in and she was like, I mean, super low cut, like super short shorts, and she literally told me, she's all, the reason I dressed this way is because I went last week dressed normally looking for a job. Nobody called me back. And so she's like, but now I'm just going to go ahead and just do this. And she had already stopped at Tipsy and UPTX went for a job and shit like that. So
guess who called her back?
I'm not sure who called her back, but I'm just saying, like, even she's
the
number's there. I just forgot what I'm doing.
And I have a lot of respect for any woman in the industry, whatever style bar you go into. I'm not judging anybody for dressing a certain way. It's just not what I wanted to portray. And I truly wonder if it helps the tips or not at the end of the day. Because when you're in a speed bar and you're selling cheap drinks,
cater to the right people.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you saw a difference, I mean, I didn't.
Well, when I was at Gray, like, I dressed whichever way that I felt comfortable, but there were certain days, like certain events, like I know all throughout Neon Desert, like I was skimpy as hell, like booty shorts, I was in like a crop top, like I was good, made my money, did whatever I needed to do, go out, but other days of the week, like I was just pretty normal, jeans, maybe like a tight shirt. It totally just depended on like the event and the sort of people that were coming around, but on those days that I dressed skimpy, I noticed that there was a difference in my tips.
Yeah,
it was a good.
No, and that's the thing too. Like, it's interesting that you bring that up. It's just that these speed bars, they have all these gorgeous women. They're all nice bodies, man. They have
younger
makeup
guys.
Yeah, and younger guys, and these guys are coming in like flocks. It's just so many guys coming in at once, and they're just throwing.
Dude group is real.
It's
brutal.
A group of guys is called a pervert. Thank you.
Okay.
It's like you have a murder of crows. You have a pervert of men.
Okay, a pervert of men. They always go to those bars, and like. That's the thing. There's just so many of the guys, and they're just throwing tips. Even if it's $1 or $2, those tips add up. And the more women there are behind the bar, you do have to split it. But they're coming to look at the women, and they're gonna throw that money more. And then with the craft, you get these customers that are more knowledgeable, and they're gonna tip more because usually they are more older. They're
and
more.
They like your drink other than your ass.
Yeah, and they like to talk to you, and your personality.
I think it's
sometimes.
It is both, but like, so what I've noticed, the difference between like working in craft bars and fast bars is like right now, of course, I'm at Whiskey's. First day that I started, or like the first week that I was there, I was like, all right, I'm gonna wear jeans, I'm gonna wear, whatever I need to do. Like I'm working 2 other jobs, I'm gonna go uncomfortable. My tips throughout the week were, kind of basic, a little bit over 100. The first day that I started wearing shorts, walked out with almost $400 in tips.
Damn.
Yeah.
And a crop top.
Yeah.
Mind you. And of course, Whiskey Dick's is predominantly military males. Of course. So that's where I made most of my money. And of course, everybody was like, oh, let me buy you a shot. Let me dance with you. Let me do this. Let me do that. And I didn't get that same attention when I was wearing my jeans. So
it does make a difference with how people treat you, though. I'm going to say that right now because you do get harassed more when you dress more provocatively because they automatically just be like, oh,
She
likes
wants it.
She
And
wants
then,
it.
and then that's also the problem too, because I'm sure everybody here has had an issue with like guys doing something, girls doing something. I don't want to just specifically name one gender for doing something inappropriate towards me, but the most that I've had an issue with as far as sexual harassment has been at Whiskey Dicks as a whole. I mean, of course, maybe working Sun City too, but I've never been touched more than any other place than Whiskey Dicks. And mind you guys, like, if you're listening to this and you're a customer, please do not touch your bartenders and your servers.
Ever.
We don't like that. We're
It's
not
not
your
okay.
girlfriend. We're not your best buddy. If we are, fine. We've already had that connection with you, but please don't touch them. Please don't grab us. Like, we
Don't
hate it.
follow us.
We
Don't
will
follow us
kick
around.
you out of the bar if we feel uncomfortable.
Do these people like reach behind the bar to do this?
Sometimes.
They do.
Sometimes,
They do.
yeah.
I've had people jump over the bars before, and I've been walking around going to the bathroom. Recently, last week, I've had 2 people grab me. They wouldn't let go, and they had to get kicked out of the bar. And it's ridiculous because they think just because we're serving them that we're their.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're there for them. Let's not like that. We're there for us. Like, we will be there for you. If you treat us, we're there for you, but don't treat us like we're your subservients.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever had the guy that asks you out but then tips you 10%?
Yes, and it's like, don't do that either, please.
I think I'll do one better. I had that guy, and
That's
he
my
fucking
favorite.
left a blank credit card.
With his number on your receipt,
And
right?
I had to
Or
work.
it gets declined. You're like, no.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, great, cool. I know what your
Darn,
credit score
like,
is.
I mean, I
thought you were the one.
at least need to know that you're a good tipper before I go on a date with you. You know, don't try to impress me and then tip me $1 on it.
Oh,
You
$11
try to
tab.
ring the credit card, it declines.
You're like, oh, I was gonna ask you out, and it's like, no, honey, no.
Yeah.
Look, I know what you're doing. Please don't.
I wanted to mention the whole, like, the dressing differently. Hearing all you ladies, just like your
Please do.
experiences
I want
and
your perspective.
everything, like the differences. I will say I've had the polar opposites after that, because of my location too. Because
Because
of
I think we're
being
predominantly
next to
fast bar.
being next to a bar as EPTX, where again, good for them. I'm envious. I really am. I wish I could wear the stuff that they do. Like, I don't have none of that confidence.
What do you mean? You could. Girl, you're beautiful.
I love my hippie pants. No.
Wear them hippie pants on top of your bodysuit.
It'll look amazing.
I'm gonna make a note of that, but I'll try that next time. But no, I actually did. I called it my tit experience. And one week, I was just...
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. One titties. Yeah. I showed them off a little more. I was wearing like really low cut, like I actually wore a bra and lifted them up. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then customers would come in and they'd say, oh, hey girl, like what's up? And yeah, I'd get more of that like, kind of like flirtatious,
Right.
I guess, vibe from them. And
But they wouldn't.
instead of, and then like I'd give them a cocktail menu and I start explaining, oh well, this is on special. I can make this cocktail, or hey, like how about just tell me your palate or tell me what spirit you like. Like no, girl, just give me like this and that. And then that was like the first time I noticed the whole like touching, because I don't know if you've seen the bar at Murray's. Like I'm kind of like locked in there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's real
And that
small.
was the first time like anyone's ever actually reached and like, you know, I was like, wait, hold on, like, I don't know if this is worth it. So,
So your one experience trying to look a little cute and
It's just
sexy,
shit
somebody
out the
tried to touch
entire
you.
thing.
yeah, and it was the whole. I placed down the credit card receipt, slide it over. They grabbed my hand and like pulled it towards them, or my arm, excuse me.
No.
And I was just like, "What are you doing?" And I was
By
like,
the
"Okay,
way, never touch our arms. Don't grab us. That's
don't grab
It's a
my
good way to get
wrist."
slapped.
Yeah.
we don't know what you're doing first and foremost. So
And
don't
we don't know
grab
you.
us and pull us towards you. You're obviously bigger than us. You're obviously stronger than us. Don't pull us
I'll
towards you.
fucking bite you if you touch me.
So I mean, it's a really good way to get slapped. or
Usually we
touched.
have a pen in our hand, so we're ready. Like, don't
Actually,
do that.
My first night working at Ace in the Hole, some guy, he didn't touch me, but he totally told me a lot of inappropriate shit. Like I was cleaning the glasses and you have to put them away, and well, of course, I bent over, but the way I bend over, it's not like, you know, the sexy girls, like you kind of just crouch down, you know, like you make it all awkwardly and like just do that. And then he told me, he's like, you're bending over the wrong way. You need to straighten your back out and perk up your ass.
This was a customer?
Yeah, no, and I
Was
had to tell Jono because he was my manager. I told him he made me feel so uncomfortable that night, and Jono told him because he was our regular Frankie, and he just calm down.
Shout out to Becky. Don't do that.
Frankie, don't fucking do that.
Shout out to Manny though. What's up?
What's up,
They're wanting to
Manny?
keep serving you,
No.
Frankie. Be nice.
Well, no, he was our regular, so he came in there every day, though. And, like, he was a cool guy and everything, but just, my first day, he just, like, let it on me. He was just like, you need to bend over like this. I could watch you all day, and you should just clean and put your stuff away, and I can just watch you. I was like, are we in the 1950s? Like, what the fuck, dude? So
that's the double standard there, because I've had, like, well, the touching thing I totally agree, because when people do that to me, I turn around and give them this look, and the first thing they do is like,
I almost hit
shit,
somebody
you
the
know?
other day.
I think sometimes people just think that it's a good way to get the bartender's attention. It's really not. It's a really good way to piss off your bartender.
Yeah.
Male or female.
And the bending over thing, I've had that at Lowbrow. Like, I was serving this older lady, and she was just like, yeah, like, she told me all the things that you were like, you know, I was like, I can look at it.
Was it
you all
Frankie?
day, you got
Was it
Was it Gracie
me, I was
Frankie?
like, I was just like, this lady was staring at my head, you know, that's what's up. Yeah,
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is kind of like an ego booster when you get like, you're like, oh, you look nice today, and you're like, oh my god,
There's
thanks.
like a
That's a
fine
$2
line.
compliment.
But
There's
no,
just
there's
a line
yeah, it
between
is.
like, oh hey, okay, cool, little boost, and like, should I like call the bouncer over?
Right, yeah.
Like, okay, the first compliment was cool. Now you're just like on number 84. I'm like, okay, please stop.
Like,
scoot
we're
back
passing
a
third
little.
base here.
Yeah.
Like, hold up.
What's your name again?
No, I think I've had more of an issue with that cocktailing than anything because I do both. So as soon as I'm in the crowd, everybody thinks it's free game, and it's like, no, it's not free game.
Yeah,
It's
I can
brutal.
only
Don't touch
I
me.
saw you posted
The crowd
something
is
the other
brutal.
day.
Oh yeah, where I was just like, reminder, please don't touch us. Well, that was the night. Some girl had grabbed my face, and
Your face?
yeah, okay, so I was out selling shots. Because that's where I make a good amount of my money. Like, I buy them for 50 cents, I sell them for $2. Great $30 profit, $20 profit, and then yeah, it's good. So I'm walking around the crowd and she comes up, she's like, oh, well, what are you selling? What's in it? What's this? What's that? So I lean in to tell her about it, and she grabs my face, and like, I freak out. Like, I have a tray of shots, I spill them, I have to pay for them. So I'm focusing on my shot, she's grabbing my face, she won't let go. And what makes it worse is that the owner was right there. Like, Tim Wilson was right there, and he's watching every single move that I do. The bouncers are right there, and
He's just
from
going, kiss.
They just
kiss,
watch?
kiss.
well, I mean, like, they couldn't see it.
Yeah, he did that shit to me.
Pretty much, like, I'm sitting there with a tray, and like, he's watching. I mean, I don't think he could tell, but like, there's a bouncer coming up from the side, and like, I'm trying to get this girl off of me because like, she's on my face. Like, everybody else from like opposite positions, they could see she's on my face, and I'm trying to move her off without like ruining my profit or like having to like pay an extra $30 that I really can't spend, and can't get her off. We have to kick her out, and it's just like, don't. Well, what makes you think you have the right to do that just because you're a girl? Like, don't touch me. Don't do that if you're a guy. Like, come on, just because we both have tits doesn't mean that you're in any other position than a guy to touch me like that. And like, we kicked her out, and it was sad. Like, I wanted to cry at the end of the night because I looked bad in front of my owner. I looked bad in front of my manager because they saw it in a different way.
Yeah.
So I was just like, they thought that I wanted it. They thought that I was like going in for the kiss. But other people around me, they saw the difference in it. And I was like, you don't just fuck up yourself, like, you fuck up us.
Yeah.
And it's shitty, because now I have a bad rap.
Definitely shakes you to feel like you're in a place where you're vulnerable to what, even if somebody just touches you when you want to be touched or whatever.
And you don't react
and
to
especially
it.
if you're in a crowd of people trying to just do your job and there's a lot of other energies going on and they're drunk, you are very vulnerable to whatever people want to do. And it can happen very fast is the scary part. You might not have time to go reach the bouncer.
Yeah, and you don't know how to react. I mean, not reacting quickly, that makes you look like that you wanted it, and it's completely opposite. You just didn't expect it. You're doing your job.
And you're trying to be professional at the same time and not
trying to like flip your shit too.
Like
you
can't
hit him with the tray or anything like that, and you're just there like, well, cool. I have to keep composure. Like I can't act the same way at my job as opposed to being outside of my job.
That's
like
your
I can't
livelihood.
do
You're
that.
still thinking about the money. Like, okay, if I were to hit her with the tray, I just lost money because
and my
of this. So
employment.
and
like,
at every point, it's just like, I'm wrong. Let's just fucking deal with it. And that shouldn't be the fucking norm. That shouldn't like it.
And I would have done something else, but I talked to my manager at the end of the night about it, because of course he was like, well, what was that? And I was like, look, dude, like I tried to get her off, she wouldn't let go. Like I had the tray. Like, what did you want me to do? And he was like, well, you didn't do anything. And I was like, look, what did you want me to do? Was I supposed to hit her? Was I supposed to, like, look, I couldn't get her off. I was pushing her. I'm like, you gotta understand at the same day, like, I'm not trying to ruin, like, your spills. Because at the end of the day, I have to pay for your spills. Yeah. At least for this. And it's like, I was in front of the owner. Like, do you really think I'd act that immature and that... I don't know. I really can't find the word for it, but it's just that unprofessional. Like you can't see me doing that in front of people. And if you do, then please let me go by all means. If you can't sit there and stand up for me for that situation. And I think, relating back to everything that we've been talking to, I don't know if guys really go through these same exact experiences. I think they do at some point. Well, like once in a blue moon, you're gonna get some really drunk nasty girl doing something.
Well,
like maybe
I got the pleasure of working next to Darren. He's a very handsome man that girls like a lot. So I got to witness.
And the guys sometimes.
Yes, exactly. Same
you're
thing at Blackbird. It was a really Blackbird. If you guys haven't been there, is a very open, loving place where everybody feels welcome. I think so. We have many different types of clientele: gay, straight, bi. Whatever you are welcome there. And Darren got a lot of that.
Well, see, actually, when it's for, I guess, as a male, and I'm not speaking for all males in the industry, of course, but for me, anytime like a chick would ever do, I guess like anything a guy would do to you guys, it was always like, an ego boost. I was like, all right, cool, like I'm on point today. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, if it was a gay dude, even more ego points because. Like, I mean, I'm just going by stereotypes in the gay community. Like, that's how I operate.
Like you appeal to everybody.
And gay dudes work out a lot,
They have high standards.
they
do have high standards.
They have like a certain standard.
You look good.
So if I got a gay dude hit on me, it's like, damn, I'm like killing it today, like.
Yes, you and I have had this conversation before though, where like if I, whatever mood I'm in, if I get kind of offended if somebody kind of hits on me or whatever. This guy loves it. Absolutely loves it. And I don't know if that's the difference between men and female in the industry or not, or if it's just their personalities. I come from it in a much more defensive standpoint.
I think it's the way that it happens, though. I think if you do it appropriately... But then again, I guess
women don't do it appropriately, though.
Well,
like, when they do it, and they're drunk and they do it, like...
They do it really nasty, though. But I think, like, with you guys, I think you guys have, like, a more in tune to, like... sexual intentions, and then with us, we're just like, who the fuck are you to talk to me that way?
Like this one time, I cocktailed these beverages out to these ladies like at Blackbird, and they've been drinking for a minute, and the first thing they told me is like, "Are you a stripper? You should."
Was it a bachelorette party?
Yeah,
I wanted to know.
And then like they wanted me to like get on top of the table. It's the middle of the day too. It's like 5 o'clock, and I'm like, no. It's just like, let me get like 5 shots in and we'll talk again, but you probably know then too, but I'm just saying.
But how did that make you feel inside, Darren?
I
was like...
But you felt good,
you were
right?
Good.
He's all crying in the bathroom. He's like, why?
Here's another question, like, were they good looking too?
I don't...
Or was it just like the idea that like you had that attention and that like you felt wanted by females? Because I think that's the difference between at least men and women as far as in the industry, but when men hit on us, they do it in, I guess I want to say the same regard as like that bachelorette party that you did, but they do it in a more aggressive and vulgar way a majority of the time. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but it's a majority of the time, and I don't think they know their limits. But with women, I think most of the time they know their limits, and when they go beyond that, you're like, alright, this is great, like, you're cool, this is funny. But by the time we're there, we're tired.
Right. I think it's just a difference also, like, we shall talk soon, but of that relationship that we have. I mean, obviously, women are a little bit more vulnerable. We are not usually, as big or as strong as men. I have a pretty tall stature, if you guys have not met me, so I feel like I'm pretty intimidating. But next to Susie, especially.
She has a tall glass.
How tall are you?
But I think I'm 5'11".
5'11". 5'11".
Yeah, I got the tallest French 75 glass here. It's amazing. No, but I think that our experience, how we react and how we feel when somebody's inappropriate with us is very different from how men experience it, because they're not as vulnerable as us.
I think they're
not, and I don't think
used
that that's the 100%
well.
case. But what were you saying?
They're not used to it, and like even
men in general.
In general, they're not used to us like coming at them like that. And I think once we hit puberty, that's when we start experiencing all the guys coming at us the way that they do, because it is different. It's different for guys and girls. Do guys want to,
But also, like, I will agree that because of, like, my size and who I am, like, I walk into situations not really fearing anything, because I'm like, I'm not afraid of anybody. So
which is quite admirable. Like, I love working with you because you'll kind of approach any situation, and I know I've pulled you aside and I've told you, like, that guy over there? And you're like, yeah. Did you make him an old-fashioned? Yeah. Because he just asked me if I could even make one. Like, we're standing behind the same fucking bar, and I just walk away, just, like, angry. And then I go serve them the drink, and then they hit on me. I'm like, make up your mind. Like, do you hate me? Do you like me? But I think you remember a conversation that we had, I want to say 1 to 2 weeks ago, more or less, Darren. We were both working, and I was kind of, I guess, arguing against the idea that bartenders are there to, for customers to flirt with, I get the idea, customers go to a bar to have a good time. Like our mission is to make you, not to get you drunk and, like, waste it out of your mind, but, yeah, have a few drinks and chill and relax. Like, you're away from your house, you're away from your work, you're away from your stresses and everything. So we want customers to leave, like, having had, like, the best time ever. Yeah, so that means, sure, like, I'll be extra friendly if they're being friendly, but, like, not too overly friendly. And but I think I was arguing with you about the whole, we have to flirt, or we have to, that's kind of what we're here for. We're here to, like, flirt back with you, and that's how we get tips. And I was arguing against it. You were kind of arguing for it. Or what was
I was saying that, like, I mean, if it's, you have to read your customers.
So devil's advocate.
Right, no, hold on. Yeah, it's true. Like, you have to read your customer. Like, I'm not there to flirt with.
I don't like sexual harassment. I love sexual harassment.
Yeah. I'm not there to flirt with every female, like, customer we get. But if someone comes in and they're throwing me, like, sorry, Jennifer. if they're throwing me, like, some kind of, like, vibe, then I'm like, I might,
you're gonna play
no,
roll
that's
with
the
it,
thing.
right?
You have to pick up that vibe, and you have to roll with it. And there's a difference between someone giving you, like, the cutesy, like, little wink, or, being like, oh, I like your smile, and there's a whole, like, sup, bitch, like, what's up,
like, what you like,
it is vibes. It is vibes.
It
takes a lot of intuition, I feel like, too, in our industry to know, like, when somebody's just having fun with you and they're your people, and you can vibe and relax and have fun, and they're not gonna sexually harass you. And then there's this person who comes up with the vibe and the intention of, like, oh, like, I want to get that, and, like, like, that, it's an uglier vibe.
So it's weird, because if they kind of first, or, like, it's the first interaction, it's like they sit down, I place napkins, like, hey folks, welcome to Murray's, and they're like, sup, what's your story? Or they're just like, kind of like, immediately off the bat. So I think I was like, hey, I'm going to give them a chance, right? Haven't met them, like, whatever. I was like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? Like, how's your night been? Like, I'll try, and they're like,
but deep
so what's up? And then they just kind of lean in more on the bar, and they're just like, I was like, oh, all right.
You came from next door, didn't you?
See, like, that's what makes, I think that's what makes bartenders, like, easy prey, because, like, say if you're, like, anybody going into a bar and you see, like, someone you want to talk to, the hardest part is trying to break the ice with them, right?
Yes.
As a bartender, you're forced to break the ice because you have to
make
take
that
their order.
first connection.
Yeah, so that's that already boom. Like, so they already have an interaction, and then if you're being extra cordial, then you know, like, oh,
Well,
I think I have a chance here.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna kind of end this whole thing with. Is that I think women, unfortunately, are sometimes put in that spot, like that vulnerable spot. Like they're seen as vulnerable. They're, you know, again, just how that guy walked in and yelled, "Where the bitches at?" Like, I think, like, had you been behind the bar, had someone else, well, all the other staff's male, but has anyone else who worked at Murray's been behind the bar, do you think they would have done the same thing? Like,
no, but
and been that kind of, like, vicious about it.
But if someone walks in the bar and says, "Where my niggas at?" and I'd be like, "Right here, baby." Like, you know, come on in, man.
And again, like, I could easily...
So you're saying it's okay? I'm gonna go to the bar next time.
The one black guy at Murray's.
If you walk into the bar and you're happy, got a smile on your face, like, "Where my niggas at?" I'll be like,
I'm not gonna be pouty.
Put on some Wu-Tang. Put on some Wu-Tang and have some fun.
Well, see, that's kind of like something that, like, I guess I want to ask, like, men about more than anything, because when they're like, "Oh, hey, well, where's the bitches at?" Because I'm kind of really rude behind the bar. Like, at least Alyssa and Darren, like at least Alyssa and Darren, and probably Jono have both seen me, like, at least at Grey Dog, and they're just like, "Wow, this chick's a bitch." Like, I had a reputation of, like,
I always thought you were a nice lady.
Yeah, sure.
We saw your inner self.
I think,
you were
no,
lovely
what
on the
I think
inside.
it is too, like, when you say you're a bitch, when
I was a bitch.
When I was
like,
working at the bar, I was just me. Like,
oh no, I was
just, if you pissed me off, I'd be like, just look at you, kind of just, I'd just give you the death stare, and then I'd go tell Jono, I'd be like, Jono, I don't like him.
Remember Dwight from The Office?
Yes.
Anytime Dwight was upset, Michael! Jono! That's what she would do. She was upset, and
I have
she
one
would
of
just
those
get
too.
me.
Mine gets real high pitched at the end.
But I just, like, the way I talk to people, I kind of just want to make everybody feel comfortable with being in my presence, and I don't want this to be as a good of an experience as possible. I don't want you to be like all, you know, like tense or whatever. So like when I was behind the bar, I'd be like, "Hey, how are you guys? You know, how are you doing? How's the day going? What do you guys want? Like, you want a drink? You know, just kind of like make
like
them
that friendly
feel
service environment.
like comfortable." So I think that's why customers would feel more comfortable with harassing me, because I was just so friendly, and people can't tell the line where being friendly and being flirty to me is, you know, and I'm not used to flirting a lot because, I don't know, I've had low self-esteem for a while. I've been locked up for a while. Not locked up. Well, like marriage, you know, you get married and like that stops because I'm out with my husband, you know, like all that flirting stops. And when I went behind the bar without my husband, obviously, it was
sitting in the bar like, get it, baby, get that titty.
Get it, girl. He's like, flirt with them.
You're like, "No, baby, no.
We gotta go to Disneyland. Flirt.
We have rented.
No, and I do think that's like a difference because, well, probably as like Darren and Alyssa will say, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Like,
I've seen your sass.
Well, dude, when
I'll call it
Patrick
sass.
threw your name out, he said like, "Oh, I can probably get Susie." I was like, "Yes, dude. Like, please bring her because I know you're a little feisty." You know what I mean?
yeah, and Jono has been there too.
As a customer and a bartender.
Like, I have been mean. Like, people have said things to me. As long as I'm behind the bar and I have complete control of like the situation and everything, I have been extremely mean to people. And I'm not saying like I do it on purpose, but of course people will play into like that sarcastic side and that condescending side, and I have a bad habit of like fighting back with it. And you know, I guess like playing into that, like at the end of the day, like I'm still who I am. Like, I'll go out, I'll go to the restroom, I'll pick up things from the tables and stuff like that, and I'll still be a complete bitch to customers. Truthfully, I will be mean. I've been completely rude and like, what can you? And people will still honestly assume that I am in that vulnerable stage, and it's like, no, honey, like, you have the complete opposite idea. Like, I will turn around, I will tell you what I need to tell you. If I'm comfortable in that position, like, I'll tell you what I need to tell you, and I'll get you out of the bar. Like,
Let me ask you guys, like, how does it affect your shifts? Like, say, you just got in, you're opening up, you just squeeze juice and shit, and then, like, first customer that comes in, it's just all like, like, hey, sex is shit. Like, it says, I don't know, what will guys say? Let me see your tits.
Like,
The very first customer, because, it's usually in the middle of
a relationship now, so you forgot to
We'll
flirt.
work
I just
on
don't
your
have to be a
pickup lines.
douchebag.
shit, guys.
Like, the very first customer is just
I
like,
feel like
just to give you an
I feel like
example.
there is so much of like saying the intuition and the energy of somebody walking in, whether it's like a fun, lighthearted. Because I don't think that there's anything wrong with flirting. I think that's a really beautiful way for people to feel confident, get a little ego stroke, to have fun, to make it a good experience. But there is that difference of somebody walking in a lighthearted energy or somebody kind of being predatory.
That's
You know what I mean? And if they come in that energy already at the beginning of your shift, like, I'm going to carry that with me all night.
Okay, see, that's what I was getting.
Women are very empathetic too.
I will
I don't think so,
kind of put up a wall and be like, all right, that was customer
One of those
number one.
days.
I have like 100 plus more. Cool. Like, and now I know how the rest of my day is going to be. But then I also have to realize, like, no, okay, like, I have another bartender coming in later. Like, we
Pull
split
yourself
tips.
out of it.
Like, okay, like, I gotta be, like, not nice. It's not that I'm, like, constantly mean. It's just I'm constantly just, like,
Yeah.
On
okay,
edge.
on the edge, and I'm
Right.
just like, okay, like, let me play nice. No, fuck, it didn't work. Let me play mean. Oh, fuck, no, that's not working either.
It's not a great way to start your night, that's
It's
for sure.
definitely not.
I think the problem is the way people come into the bar not thinking about how they're making the other person feel. Like, behind the bar. Like, we have feelings. You're making our experience uncomfortable. Don't fucking do it. You know, like, as you said, like, it's different when you're splitting tips and you have to be nice and stuff, and then you get targeted more a little bit. But I think people don't understand that we do remember. We remember these unpleasant experiences.
Yeah,
and even
and like we remember your faces too.
Forever.
Yeah.
You leave an imprint wherever you go when
Yeah.
you do things like that.
So I think people just need to be mindful of other people's feelings, and people aren't. And
Right.
as you said, it's both girls and guys. Girls will come in and they can make you feel little, dude. Like, I've had girls be real mean to me, dude, and I'm just like,
Oh.
like, it goes both ways. Like, you could be like sexually harassing me, or you could make me feel like shit. Like, your experience is gonna make my day like either good or bad.
So do you think that's another thing that changes too, because you're female, like, the way females interact with you guys versus they do with
hell
the
yeah,
bartenders?
dude.
Yes,
Hell
because they're
fucking
meaner
yes,
than males.
Dude. Girls are so fucking mean. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I've worked with a lot of girls, like most of our girls.
No, honestly, we're fucking mean.
Yeah, dude.
Let me just tell you now, we're mean.
So what I'm hearing is that you're the problem.
No, like,
Let me
No,
just walk out.
if anything, like,
Are we talking about coworkers or customers?
Yeah.
I know
Both.
coworkers. Like, I've had coworkers
Okay.
be fucking ruthless with me, and I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to work. Like, I'm not here to compete with you. Like, I know we have to split tips at the end of the day, but I'm
let's work
trying
as
to.
a team.
Let's work as a team, like, and they'll just, like, flat out not do their work. I have to fucking clean. I have to do the bathroom. Like, I have to go pick up glasses and everything. Like, just shitty, dude. Like, shitty people, dude. And it's always girls, because when I work with guys, guys were never like that to me. Like, they would help, and they would fucking pick up the slack, and, they would pick up the slack, and, they would help me out, dude. And with girls, it's just like, they see me doing all the work, and then they're just like, I'm just gonna talk to the customer for the rest of the night, so I don't have to do shit.
Yeah.
And then it pisses me off, because I have to split tips, and I'm doing most of the heavy ass work.
Right.
And instead of working together, I think females like to attack each other.
I feel like for me, I feel like for me, my experience for the most part with women as customers has been really good. So I feel like I have a pretty easygoing energy for the most part. I can't say I'm 100% all the time that way, but
Wait, I didn't say anything.
it's on my face, Darren.
I will say that
there is a certain amount of stress behind the bar, guys, when it's busy and you're waiting and you're 3 people deep and we're trying to get to everybody and we're stressed just as much as you are impatient. So
I will say that working with you, like, it mellowed me out. Like, we had that time we had the argument.
We've had a few fights,
it got
actually.
weird. But after that, like, it mellowed me out. And at that point, that's when I kind of stopped, not caring, but I stopped reading too much into things. Like, I told you, I never look at the tip line on things. That's just going to piss
That's
me off.
hilarious.
Which
You mentioned
pisses
that
me
to
off.
Yeah,
too.
that's
Which
just gonna piss
pisses me off like
Yeah.
crazy.
And I always try to, like, go in there, like, you remember on your, like, on your last day,
Yes.
you know? Like, it's like, okay, tonight's all about you. Like, so I don't really give a
Darren
shit.
was so
have,
amazing
like,
on my last
have
night.
fun, but it's all about, as long as you have fun, I don't really give a shit.
And it was a stressful night, and Darren had this really beautiful energy about him where he just stayed in his bubble, and I worked on the wall next to him, and we had a really, like, you were my safety net that night. I was, like, throwing stuff at you, like, F this customer, like, you know, like, whatever it was all night, you know. But I've had, in general, as customers, women have been pretty cool with me. I think I relate to women well. I think I communicate well with people. Like, we just, you know, have fun for the most part. I can't say that 100% of the time. And as coworkers, it's 50-50 too. Like, when I went in, I was working with some other females who were just amazing. I was working with Yuvia and Mariah, if you guys know them. We had this amazing bond together. Like, we're still friends. We supported each other. They taught me a lot, you know. I feel like the younger girls that have come in have had a little bit of a difficult time with me because I am pretty direct and I just want things done well behind the bar. I don't know if you're like this, Michelle, in your bar, but like, please just, like, get out of my way when we're busy, and I'm probably going to yell at you about it, but, like, I was getting pushed around by, like, these big guy bartenders telling me to get the fuck out of the way, and, like, but I was always told to never take it personally, you know, and I feel like the younger girls that were coming in were taking it very personally from me, and I was trying to come from a place of teaching and love and, like, help them out a little bit, you know, but I
Did you see a difference between their interaction with, like, the male bartenders pushing them around and you pushing them around?
It's completely different. It is completely different if I give them any sort of, and not that, like, I'm necessarily there to be their boss or their mom or whatever, but, like, just get out of my way and, like, this is how you do it, and, you know, whatever, like, please go serve that table that's waiting and coming up to me with your tab, you know? If it was me, it was always just like that sort of defensive response. I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but if it was one of the guys that was going to tell him something, which you guys really didn't, you're all pretty easygoing, it was a totally different reaction for sure. And even just stuff is like, can you please go put paper towels in the bathroom? Like, they felt like I was being bossy or bitchy or whatever.
No, I think that's the problem with me is that I'd rather not make you feel uncomfortable and I'll do it. You know, like, I'm not necessarily, I'm not
Like,
a
you're
pushover.
reserved?
I just want to get shit done. I want to go home. I don't want to wait on you to fucking put the towels in. I'm going to fucking do it.
There's a time to do it, though. Like, if you're, again, 3-5 deep, you can't take the time
No,
to do that.
that's the thing,
So,
though. We were already closed, and they're still talking to their last fucking customer there, and they're not moving, and I want to go home.
No, I feel
I'm
like
not
there's
trying
a
to fucking-
difference. Like, I don't know how you girls are. I know you're a little bit more reserved, and Alyssa's a little I guess, headstrong. But when it comes to me, and it's like, no, we're.
No, that's what I was going to ask you. How is your experience
So
with
sweet to
working
say
with
that way.
so many females? Because I know over there where you're working at Whiskey Dicks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more females there.
Well-
so how is it, like, working with, like, I only worked with, like, maybe one
Males.
other female on a shift, but still, sometimes those girls that I worked with,
Well, typically, like, at Whiskey's, like, we have our own stations. We have our own bars. We have, like, our own wells. If you don't get that shit done, like, you don't go home. And then we have people who check us out. But I've also worked in places where females usually run the industry. Like, or I mean, at least that business so much is like the industry. But with females, we'll usually get our stuff done. If not, we'll ask somebody else to do it, and usually that comes with, like, a tip out, or, like, you don't have to tip us out. But with males, I've noticed that whenever I have to tell a male to do something, because I've done that in, like, surveying industry, and when I first started bartending, I was in charge of males. And, of course, I didn't know how to approach them the same way, but they'll usually disregard what I have to say. They'll usually take my authority for granted. So, at least with females, like, we get our stuff done from what I've noticed. Of course, it's like that one few that come out of the crowd and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to be lazy and hide in the bathroom. But males,
So I
they're
had a
just
lot of
like,
cocktails coming in like that.
yeah. So yeah.
And when you're 3 deep in the bar, you just need the operation to work well.
Like do your shit. I don't care what the fuck you're gonna do. Just do your shit. And at least with males, like, they outright just give you that disregard, so you know whether or not. And I've had to sit there and be with them like, look, dude, like, you're at a job, you're a professional, do your shit. It doesn't matter who's above you, because there's somebody above me that's gonna be above you at the end of the day. Like, you're trying to impress those people. Who could give a fuck about me? Like, if you don't fucking like me, don't like me. I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, I'm trying to get my job done for my boss. But you're trying to get your job done for my boss, too. You have to do your job for me, but impress them. I could give a fuck. Like, at least with females, they'll do their job. Like, they want to get out. They want to get done. They don't care who's telling them what to do. Because if another female's telling them what to do, I feel they're more comfortable with doing it. I feel like we have maybe more of a connection. Like, we're like, oh, could you please do this, do that? But when it comes to a male and giving them some sort of authority, they're like, well, their pride kicks in maybe. They're like, why are you telling me what to do? Like,
I have the opposite experience
Yeah,
with that.
no,
I really
exactly.
love you guys so much for that. I had the exact
because
opposite.
I've had, like, that experience. And I'm like,
I am
Can
lovingly
you
named
not?
Mama Bear at Blackbird.
But see, I pull that card. I pull that card all that time. Though, like when people ask me to do something at Murray's, and they're just like, "Hey, man, do this thing for me," and it's like 2 or 3, like pour a shot or something. I was like, no, Michelle's a boss, dude. You don't talk to her about that
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean? Like, I would just.
And then I just look at your face. I'm like, do you want to? Nope, you don't. We're close. Sorry.
so that'd be nice.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I've had that maybe 1 or 2 places, but
So
I
you
guess
haven't had
where
somebody
I've worked
support you?
as, like, an authority figure.
Yeah, supportive
No.
authority. Really?
No, and I mean, this is talking both, like, bar industry and serving experience. Because I guess I maybe, mind you guys, I'm like 4'7", I'm like 100 pounds. Give that to you, like, if you want to go off of looks, but no, like, people.
That shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't,
But yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
Like, I
be
have
supported.
that title. I have that title, and people have honestly looked at me like, well, who the fuck are you to say anything to me? I've been here longer. Like, they'll have tenure, whatever the case is. Like, they'll have experience over the entire industry, serving or bar, and they've looked at me and they've been like, well, what do you know compared to me? And it's like, at the end of the day, I still have this title. I'm still working a job that I work. Like, please listen to me. We're a team. Maybe I'm your superior, but it's not like you're my inferior. We'll work as a team, but you have to treat me as such. It's like, a lot of the times I don't get that. And it's weird, and I guess, like, I want to say the 4 women, or the 3 women that are here, that are working in the same system, probably don't see that, but
Well,
they all work.
I mean, I only had like a couple of girls that were like ruthless with me, but the other girls, they were sweet. But
yeah, girls are usually
the guys,
like, good.
I was real fortunate with guys, man. They, like Jason, Jono, you know,
Yeah.
Mario, and Tony, like, they went above and beyond to make sure, like, we were okay. Everything was clean. We got out of there fast. Like, you know, it was just moving quickly. Everything was, because at the end of the day, I like to work, but I want to go home.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to be here anymore.
You don't want to be there till 5 in the
Tired.
morning.
I'm tired of putting my energy out there with everybody, because it is exhausting putting your personality boom, 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 here, making people comfortable. It's exhausting emotionally, and I want to go home, dude. I don't want to stay there. And some of these girls are there to party, and they're there to just have fun. I want to go fucking to sleep. That's what I want to do.
No, I have really great relationships with any female I've ever worked with, but they're definitely, like, the younger ones coming in had much more difficulty with me telling them what to do or asking them. I don't want to say it that way, you know, asking them to do stuff rather than the men. We have great friendships and relationships outside of work, you know, but I definitely have those moments of frustrations and
See, and that's true though, because I feel like when you tell them to do something, they see it as like authoritative, maybe.
Right.
But whenever one of us, not just in our
Any
bubble,
other guy
knowing who we are and knowing who these females are, like, hey man, can you go ahead and just like do this? Like
yeah, and it's the way I
it's
approach it for sure.
Yeah, it's like more of a
do
buddy thing, versus and you approach it the right way, whereas we approach it like.
Well, no, it's not a right or wrong way, but it's what you're saying. It's like you're putting out all this energy and serving people all night, and you have to, expend that amount of energy in a stressful situation. So, like, I wasn't always the best at communicating things in a gentle way. Never out of anger or something unkind, but definitely just like direct and to the point.
No, just like what you were saying, like we're 3 deep. All the stress is on you, like how you were saying, like we're being as patient and like trying to be as hard, like as the customer, and then if someone who's new on this stuff,
right,
they're in your way, it's like you're not gonna be like, hey, usually what we do if this is my station, then you would move over here. Yeah. Like there's no fucking time for that.
I had to learn.
Hey man, like just I'm sorry, but get the fuck over there.
I had to learn that I could speak to the guys that way, and they'd be like, get the fuck out of my way, and like we like laugh about it later. And then the women, if I talk to them that way, it's not.
And it's something that like I kind of wanted to mention, like everything that you all have been saying about having female coworkers and everything, like I can say I was lucky enough, like being at Murray's, I haven't dealt with anything. I know I boss around Darren and Matt and like both other Caesars, but
like it.
No, I mean we just recognize that. Only I guess certain guys like we know you're the boss. So at the end of the day, we're friends, yeah. But at the end of the day, you're still the boss. So
it's like, hey, Darren, go do that. You got a beer? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they respect you.
Yeah. But I will say it's the whole like this example that you were saying right now about like, okay, I have no time to be polite or explain like in depth, like it's not out of my way.
Right.
It's something that my partner / the manager at Murray's, Sessa, what he calls it's just industry talk.
Yeah.
It's just like, we don't say fuck, shit, blah, 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 like all the, like, the cursing, it just comes with the job because it's so, like, high stress.
It's expressive.
So don't take it personally. It's just, hey, get the fuck out of my way so we can both do our job.
I was always told to not, when I first got on Eddie trained me and he said, don't get in Joseph's way. And if he yells at you, don't take it personally, because I was cocktailing and he was helping all the cocktails on this end of the bar with a patio window and people from all sides of him on like $8,000 nights with Chihuahuas games and madness, and I just never took it personally. Ever.
I've never seen one of those.
Never.
You see, that's why.
I'm sure they do at Dizzy Duck,
Yeah, but that's why, like at Blackbird, I like my end well. It sucks because sometimes I get ignored, barback wise, when I wash the dishes or anything. But at the same time, I don't have to move around people.
Right, but I never took it personally. I understood. I had asked him to make me probably 10 French 75s in 2 hours one night. And he looked at me and he said, I'm going to teach you how to make this. Don't ever ask me again. I said, okay, and I didn't take that offensively. I took it as an opportunity to learn. I just always got out of his way. I knew we were friends at the end of the night. They were all just helping me out. And I didn't have that experience with women behind the bar as much. The bartenders, Mariah and Nubia, yes. The younger cocktails coming in that were still learning were not as patient about it or just would get frustrated with me, for sure.
It is different, though, being behind the bar with your partner. Because,
I bet.
Oh man, there are times where I just look at him and I'm like, what did you just say to me? But
wait till we clunk out. Wait till we clunk out.
But then at the end of the shift, it's just like, I give him a kiss, I give him a hug, and it's okay, but I think he's very supportive. He's heard customers call me a bitch and say, oh, she fucked up my drink. And he'll go take the drink out of their hand, taste it, and be like, that's fucking perfect. You know why? Because I trained her. And if you don't like it, get the fuck out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they're just outright calling me a bitch as if I can't hear
you.
them. That's my guy. But, there are times, again, high stress and just we're reactionary to a certain point. And because we're so comfortable with each other, I do see the worst of us come out. And again, with the rest of my staff, no problem, we're good. I can just tell them this, they can say okay, or I can help them, whatever. Yeah. But when it comes to that's so different.
Yeah, I bet.
It is so
I love
different.
you guys so much.
I don't want to say that's the worst of us that comes out, because I think that's the work of us that comes out.
Yeah.
Because when I started at Grey Dog, it was a completely different experience. I moved from fast bar to craft cocktails, and I was like, well, shit, I don't know anything. And like, I still regard the person that taught me as like one of a good friend. I mean, maybe we don't talk as much, maybe we're in a discrepancy, you know, whatever the issue may be, but we've talked to each other that way. We're like, don't fucking talk to me right now. Get the fuck away from me. Like, whatever the issue is, and it's on the shift, but at the end of the day, we're like, you know what? My bad, dude. Like, this was getting to me, this was getting to me, like
you have to have that explanation.
Yeah.
So this happened, and this, so
but,
sorry, like, hug it out.
Yeah, I mean, even if we're arguing, if somebody else behind the bar does something, or somebody else, like, you know, opposite side from us, like, whatever our issue may be, like, say you and I have something, like, Michelle, like, whatever the fuck, like, maybe I made your drink wrong, or I didn't hear you, or I made your well, or I fucked something up. Like, whoever else behind the bar, whoever else on the other side of the bar, and they say something to me, and it's like, you would have come and, like, you would have been like, who the fuck are you to say anything like that? Like, are you me? Are you me?
Yeah.
Who are you? What is your name?
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. And then at the end of the day, we walk out, we're best of friends, and it doesn't matter.
It's family.
It is. I mean, like,
That's your family, right?
we'll shit on each other at work, but when we're out of work, we're like, let's go get someone new though. Like, let's go get IHOP.
Yeah, it is. You go through very extreme ups and downs in a night. You know, one night is a lot of stress and a lot of ups and downs and physically, emotionally trying. And so we go through it together, and it's family.
Yeah. And the way I see it is, I mean, the job's already stressful, so why make it more stressful behind the bar?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't make any sense in anything.
Yeah.
I fuck up and lose rubber bands, you know?
Like, don't take that home with you.
You know?
Like, keep that at work, and then leave it at the end of your shift.
I already called myself out for fucking. All right, so I think that's a good way to end this one. It was a great episode. I want to thank everybody for showing up.
What's the takeaway here?
It's a loaded
Huh?
issue.
The takeaway, just for everybody to know, basically is
Don't
be
touch
a
your
bitch.
Touch your fucking
you
bartender
don't touch
waitress.
your mailman. You don't touch the person serving you at McDonald's. Don't fucking touch your serving staff.
Don't touch
Your
us.
servant staff?
Serving
Damn.
staff.
He said servant. He
Yeah.
said servant.
Wow. All right.
Don't touch us
Straight
and tip us 20%, or we're not gonna serve you quite as quickly as we serve the other people that are tipping us 20%.
I think some of that comes from the fact that the whole industry was like norm was 15 for the longest time, but obviously things have changed. But I think a lot of it comes from.
I don't even tip us 15, Adrian. No.
Yeah.
It's
So-
bad. It's bad.
Hold on.
Tip. Be a good tipper.
So how do you?
No, I am a good tipper,
How
but
would,
because this guy sat me down and he explained to me. There's
How
one
would
time
a
he was
male
working there.
manager?
Shut up.
How would a male
You.
manager empower
That's a good
you
question.
female bartenders or managers?
Well, the
or,
last time
Whoa,
that I
John, I
like,
didn't know we were on this episode.
Yeah.
At the end.
Well,
we
the
missed
question
you,
is
To
John.
empower
That's a
them,
great
like
question.
to.
at the end of the day, like I want to say, like, if a male manager was talking to their female bartender, female cocktail waitress, whatever you're doing, as opposed to like serving just like with liquor, like focus on liquoring and stuff like that, or like alcohol. Of course, we have like a different experience than regular servers, but you know what? You need to keep yourself strong, keep yourself aware. Like, you cannot like play into what you need to play to, but don't play too hard. You need to know where the limits are. You need to know what your limits are and where your comfortable strengths are. Dress how you feel comfortable. Like,
Yeah, I think
you
that's a
need
good
to
way.
understand where your discomfort lies, and you need to know how to play into that to make yourself a better person in your industry. And I think that's what a lot of managers fail to recognize, at least because they think they have like their experience that plays into our experience completely different. Like, you need to see what other people are comfortable in. And I think that's with every employee, to be quite honest with you. You need to recognize what they're comfortable doing and have them grow from that comfortability.
Yeah, I had a great experience with my managers. I told you guys earlier. I walked in and Eddie said, "Wear what you want to wear. You know, I'm not asking you to dress a certain way. If you want to, do it. If anybody touches you, looks at you in a way that you're uncomfortable, tell the bouncer they're gone. You know, that's a really great way to empower your employees to feel confident and safe in their working environment, for sure. And I had great bouncers who like had hawk eyes. Anytime somebody looked at me or like they were even gonna think about touching me, they were on them. Like, really, truly, it was that situation that I walked into, which was amazing. Made me feel great. Matthew and Joseph and Eddie all really spent a lot of time talking to customers and talking me up when I'd be there next to them, you know, saying things like, oh, well, she makes a great cocktail too. Not that they still always want the old fashioned from the bearded dude who created our recipe for it. You know, they're always going to want
Just
that.
a quick side note.
But they would
Females
try and
can still
empower
make
me.
old fashioned.
Beautiful
And
fashions.
We probably make them fucking better.
We're very
Right.
intuitive.
Yeah.
guys.
But I will say this.
Beautiful drink.
If you want to
By the
solve,
way.
a lot of problems behind the bar, just hire buff black people to work with you,
Wow.
and that'll solve.
Wakanda forever.
But they have to have
Hashtag
dreads and a
Black
man
people.
bun.
But talk about your employees to other customers. You know, if they want your cocktail, make sure you tell them what, like, if you know that your employee is really strong in a certain drink and you know that they like bourbon and she knows a lot about bourbon, like, tell them to go up to them, you know, like, we're all sharing tips at the end of the night. You're not going to hurt from that. You're only going to empower your female staff. And
it's less work for you.
and
Just
we can
empower
take it
me
a
like
little
that.
more seriously. You know, you get that little bit of validation from your boss that they respect. And, yeah.
And I will say too, like as ending advice, don't pay attention to the tip line, like unless there's like unless it's like a really large tab and you're trying to
I'm
like
the
whatever,
worst.
but
I have
don't
to
pay
look all the
attention to the tip line
time.
because at the end of the night, it's gonna even out. For every like shit customer that doesn't tip anything, there's that one guy who's gonna tip $100. And you just make up for his thing.
Fuck, tips $100.
Not every
You
night.
would be surprised.
That doesn't happen every
Really?
night.
That's the way I see
True,
it.
not every night, but there is a guy.
It's an exaggeration.
There
It
is
is
that
an
guy.
There's someone in
exaggeration,
every
but
crowd that's
there's
like, here's
always-
50, here's 60, here's 70, here's 100. Like, have your day, and you're like,
right. And for every cat that does that, there's always
Do you want to
that-
grab a boot? You know what? Both. Get both.
No, that's what
we
we
just
just
talked about this. We'll grab it.
Yeah, like, but for every cat that does that, like, there's always, like, 2 or 3 who are going to tip fucking anything for the shit you do. It all evens out at the end of the night. And I just feel like if you, like, constantly pull out the tip line and look at it, that's going to piss you off. And if that pisses
It
you off,
does.
then that's going to trickle down to every other customer after that.
You're right. It
So
does.
I always just say, just don't pay
You know,
attention
I'm
to
so
it.
curious.
The
I
best-
can't
no,
I want to
no,
know
the
if you're a good tipper or not.
The
Always.
best advice is don't expect anything. Then everything that you get,
It's
you'll-
amazing.
It's
That's the
amazing.
worst advice. That's
Have the
like,
lowest
That's
expectation.
exactly what you just said.
no, I didn't say that.
Wait.
No, not even that.
I said
You're
don't
just
look at it. I
like-
didn't say don't expect anything because that's like, what's the saying? Is like expect everybody to be shitty because if you do, then you'll never
You're
be
gonna be
disappointed.
great.
Yeah.
Like that's a horrible way of. I mean,
Well,
sorry.
why about it?
So,
Why?
so if you
You're
just
always
ignore it,
surprised.
everything's okay.
I do.
No, I feel like expect to be, expect to get back what you do for your work,
Yeah.
at
Because-
least at a minimum. And
my
then,
approach-
like,
And
when
stand
you
up
get
for that.
more,
Yeah.
then you're going to be great.
good or the bad.
But my
Yeah.
approach is that I'm expecting 2 things. Everybody's gonna like some people are gonna be shitty and some people are gonna be badass. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting
Exactly.
that.
Well, yeah.
You
So,
have to
right.
even that out. You have
So,
to even
and
that
that's
out
why
at
it's
least
gonna even out.
the 15 or 10% of tips for your sales.
But I will say
At
this too: if you come in and tip like yeah, I don't know. If you
75
come in and tip
cents
really
for your
well,
$8 tab.
and the other guy comes in and tips like shit, don't be surprised if you tip like shit that maybe you don't get paid attention to as well. You know what I mean? Like
We're not
if I
going to
see-
come
yeah.
to you.
if I see a dude at the
Tip
bar, I'm
us
like,
well.
that's the guy. Or
We will
like,
go
that's-
straight to you.
Yeah.
And it's not
Moral
because
of
we
the
don't
story.
want to do our job right. It's because we know we're not going to get what we need from you. So we're going
Exactly.
to go to the people that we know we can get what we have.
Well,
If
they're
you're
gonna
going to
It's
do
also like an
75%.
appreciation.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say they appreciate what we're doing. We're doing a service. This is our job. They recognize that. It's also like appreciation and recognition,
Yeah.
and they see the hard work that goes into everything that we do. Like it could be
Yeah.
from opening a fucking bottle to like, or just recommending a great beer,
Or like
or
throwing
making
an
like the
egg white
most
in there.
complicated fucking cocktail that we can. As long as like we're doing it for you, you're asking us, we're making it, and
We
then
put
you
your
know,
attention
Yeah,
out of
so-
that.
it's like this whole thing. It's
So if you're like, say if you're okay with not tipping, then be okay with not getting served promptly, basically.
Exactly.
Well, no,
Yeah,
well,
it's all like that.
That's the
Or
thing.
at all.
Our time is too expensive.
If you're
Yeah.
Our
I mean,
time is
no,
expensive.
that's-
I
we're
will
gonna talk
walk
about it.
away
We're
from
gonna
you
talk
if I
about
know
it.
you're not tipping me. I will walk away from you and not serve you.
Pretty
Go
much,
to the
yeah.
next guy.
Like, until you're like the last
That's
person that's like looking
exactly what
around
I
like,
do.
oh, God.
We
I'm with
need
Darren.
a
I'm like
sale.
Darren. I just served them.
Yeah.
They didn't tip,
We
like
make-
tagging you in.
She does
We
real
make-
life Tinder.
We make
Yeah.
real life
Yeah,
Tinder.
no,
We
no,
make
no.
$2 an hour, guys. We
I'm sorry,
live
sir. Can you
off of
step
our
to the left,
tips.
please? Thank you.
Swipe
That's
it to the
great.
left.
Awesome. Thanks.
I'll just go ahead and swipe you this way. Thank you very much.
Alright. So that's a good way to end it.
God damn it.
Thank you for
Jono.
having us.
No problem. No, thank you
Yeah,
for coming.
it
I
was
want to
great.
thank Alyssa, Susie, Michelle, Renee for showing up. Glad to have you guys back again. Hopefully, we'll talk more about this. But yeah, it was a really good episode. Thank Jono, Patrick for
Thank you,
sitting
Yeah,
in
thanks for
corners.
chiming in when you were supposed to.
Adrian, anything to say, bro?
No, thank you for coming in today. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. You already plugged it in, so
Drunken ears, baby.
And that has been another episode of Lift Libations. We'll see y'all next time. Cheers.
Cheers. See you later.